All right, guys, welcome back Inside the Pod with Lou here. Like we start every podcast with a Bible verse, and today's Bible verse led us to the book of Proverbs, verse 16, chapter 9. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. Proverbs 16:9. And with that being said, I'm with
Jacob, Jeff,
Amber, Jeff.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for stopping by. It's been a little while since I podcasted, so kind of, thank you for being the first of. We already kind of said I feel like 2026 already, but we're in December of 25. I feel like it's been a pretty good year. Kind of like introduce yourself to the Valley. Kind of let us know who you are. I mean, I know I initially heard of you through 559 Fights.
Yeah.
So kind of.
So my name is Jacob Jeff. I'm owner and head coach at Ochoa Combat Academy. But I'm also, I've been in the fight game for a long time. A lot of people know who I am. A lot of the old timers know who I am. Just like, the big dudes like LeVar Johnson, all those guys, we got to work with each other a lot throughout the years. And then I'm also general manager for Tachi Palace Casino and Resort. So also the owner of Sneaker Tech. What else am I owner of? Yeah, I got so many hobbies, man. It's crazy.
No, I know. Okay. So Ochoa, right?
Yeah.
We brought on at the time 559 fighter Robert Barrios.
Yeah.
And we had brought on Matthew Tequila Vargas, right? Yeah. And Robert Brother Bear Barrios. And so then
I call him Smother Bear.
Smother Bear. And so they came on, right? And then we had from there, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, my coach." And then I saw you at the fight. Obviously, the first time wasn't what we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But in the second time at Eagle Mountain, it was a better result, right?
And then
we kind of talked there and kind of got to know each other a little bit, and then added each other on social media, like everyone out there, social media now. And I'm new to it, right? So you're like, "Hey, bro, come on and break down the history of MMA of the Valley." And I'm like, "Hey, well, perfect," because I think as I come on and I'm kind of newer to the MMA world, especially of the 559, I've been involved in like the wrestling community, trying to get them out there. A lot of guys turn into 559 fighters that are from the wrestling community.
Definitely.
And so I was like, you know what? That's perfect then. Let's break down the history of the Valley of MMA. So we'll start there.
Okay.
I know you touched on LeVar Johnson, so shout out to Big Dog Bare Knuckle out there. And that's part of an organization that started in the Valley, and hopefully they're going to continue to grow. We worked at one of their events in July. We also been part of a couple 559 fights, so shout out to 559 Fights. And then now we have Mr. Jeff here to break down a little bit of the history. I mean, you said you started in 99, right?
Yeah, well, the fights have always been at the casino, at Tachi Palace. So Tachi Palace is pretty much like the mecca of MMA in Central Valley. That's where I got to meet a lot of these people, like Doug Marshall, Rhino, LeVar Johnson, especially with LeVar. I'll touch on that for a little bit because LeVar's he was our Toughman contest. We used to have a Toughman contest over there.
Okay.
So it's two guys get in the ring, boxing gloves, go for 1 minute straight, and it's a tournament base, so they all go through it, and LeVar ended up winning the Toughman contest, and then he transitioned into MMA, and but he's always been a knockout artist, so he was really good at that. But I got to see them grow because back in the day, there was a company called WC, World Extreme Cage Fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they did 22 shows in California before they went to before they were bought out by Zuffa. So 21 of those shows were done at Tachi.
And that's when you had the Californian kid, right? Like Uriah Faber was in there.
Well, you know what? Uriah only did one fight with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they had somebody else in there, right? That was ended up in UFC down the road from WC.
Oh yeah,
right?
there's a whole bunch. There was Cole Escobedo.
Yeah.
He's from Fresno too. Tachi Kid, Poppies Martinez, Dominic Robinson, Fallen Angel, Gabe Rudiger. I mean, there's just names just go on and on and on, man. Casey Olsen, but all those guys, they all got their start at Tachi. But like I said, the 21 of the shows of WC were done at Tachi. Got to get to know the fight game, got to actually learn it. There was a gentleman there named Christian Printup, and he's kind of like my mentor when it comes to the fight game and they setting them up, the back of the house stuff, because there's always a back of the house. There's no show without the back of the house crew.
No, yeah, for sure.
Just like you, we wouldn't be on this podcast today if it wasn't for your back of the house.
Exactly, yes, sir. And Ochoa wouldn't be standing if it wasn't for back of the house, right?
This one, exactly. So with all that going on, I started getting into the game too. There was an incident that happened at Tachi where, I was always been in the casino.
Yeah.
And so one time this guy, I didn't pay him his checkbook because he didn't win it. There's another guy, his buddy won it.
Okay.
And so we caught it on camera, and he tried to claim it, and I told him, no, I'm not going to pay you. And he was like, well, watch, I'm going to catch you in the street. I'm like, whatever, bro, get out of here. I have security guards behind me, so it's kind of big and bad. And then I started thinking, like, well, what if he did catch me? I might be able to put up a good fight, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
But what if we're with my family? What if I'm with my kids?
Yeah. What if you're out shopping?
Yeah.
What if you're out at the store?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn how to kind of defend myself more. And so my cousins were already doing it. Tony Alaniz, Poppies, Mickey Martinez, they were already doing it. They were at a place called Sam Ochoa Combat Karate. And so I went there, and I started, I got beat up for the first, month and a half until somebody new came in. And then I got to beat up the new guy. So,
you're like passing down the torch. Yeah.
Now I don't have to take the beating. You get
yes, sir.
So but that's how I got into the
like the MMA world.
Yeah, the MMA world, because before then I was on the business side of it with WC and Christian Printup. So that's how I got into it, and it just grew into a passion from there.
Yeah.
And then when Zuffa bought WC. They were supposed to continue doing shows at Tachi, but they looked at the property, and they said this isn't the venue that we wanted. So they ended up taking them to Vegas and did it at the Hard Rock, which was a small venue, smaller than what we had. So,
yeah.
When we looked at it, it was like, why'd you do that? But the thing is that at the time we already had a show lined up. There was a show, we already had fighters booked, we already had everything going. And so we turned it around. We went, being Christian Printup, Jeremy Lukow, Joey Perez, like Mary Moon, like we all, band together, and we created Palace Fighting Championship, PFC. And so we saved the show. And so that's how we started our own company.
And when was that?
That was probably back in 2007,
2007?
Yeah, 07, 06. I don't really remember the date. I'm old.
Yeah, because it's a history lesson right now. Remember, I'm going to learn. You threw a lot at us in the beginning, so I'm going to kind of touch on what
Okay, yeah, now we can break it.
Yeah, no, because, so obviously in the names you threw out there right now, the one I recognized was Jeremy.
Yeah.
559 owner, right?
Yeah.
So this is 2007. You guys started this company.
Yeah.
Obviously it went up to, because I think 559 was created in 2012.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you guys were probably running for about a couple years.
Yeah, we ran like, oh man, we ran like maybe 20 something shows under the PFC banner. Thing that happened was since we created it so fast, Christian Printup put a lot of stuff in his name. So because we needed to get it going, we needed to get licensing, we needed to get promoters stuff going, we needed to get the LLCs going. We needed to set up a business, and Christian did it within a week.
Yeah.
And so
that's important, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
You have a business now, and this is turning into a business, and I understand everything that you're saying.
All the insurance, all that stuff, dude. Yeah. So it went so fast, and then we were like, damn, we can do this, man. Like, we can do this on our own. Why are we doing it with other people? Why are we having these other people benefit? Because they're going to sell out and bail on us like WC did.
Yes.
So we started keeping it in-house, and we created Palace Fighting Championships, and we did 20-something shows under that banner. Thing that happened was that Christian did a transition, and he ended up leaving the company.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when he left, he took the PFC with him because he owned it. The casino didn't own it. It was all under Christian Printup's name. So we couldn't run the banner. We couldn't run PFC. So what did me and Jeremy do? Created Tachi Palace Fights. You know, so that's how.
And that got created in like what year?
Yeah, probably like in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Tachi Palace Fights went to a certain point and then it stopped.
20, I don't know what it is about those 20-something shows, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did 20-something with WC, 20-something with PFC, 20-something with Tachi Palace Fights. But we ran it for a while. And then finally it came to a point where our tribal council and our leadership at the time, they decided that it was costing us too much money to run these shows, so we're not going to do them like that anymore. We're going to have another company come in, and that's when we brought in King of the Cage, Gladiator Challenge, King of the Cage. So we brought those guys in, and Ted Williams. They started running our shows under that banner. So it was like Tachi Palace Fights under Gladiator Challenge, but. During that time when they came in, I had already fought. I competed. And I remember sitting there, and Ted Williams was, he was sitting across the table and, throwing his pitch, his sales pitch and everything. And I told him, I go, the only way that you're going to get my vote to get you in is if I can get a copy of my fight. And he was like, what fight was it? And I gave him the card, the show I was on. And a week later I had a copy of my fight, because back then you couldn't get a copy of your fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he sent me the VHS tape. I'm just playing. It was a DVD, but anyway.
We're not that old school, guys. 2007, but.
So we ended up bringing them on. So this all revolves around Tachi. So there was other shows that were going on around that time too. We had the Warriors Cage that was going on at Eagle Mountain. They were doing the Warriors Cage up there. That's where I competed at. So you just keep on going and going and going. That's kind of like a nutshell of how everything.
Yeah, because right now Tachi's not doing nothing right now, right?
We were doing A1, Uriah A1 for a little bit, and then we went and did some LFA shows. But again, that's another company. We're like going back to the WC thing where we're letting other people benefit off of our generosity,
Yes.
So that's going to change in 2026. So
2026, we're going to have Tachi Palace Fights coming back.
Palace Fights is going to be coming back.
You guys heard it right there. 2026, be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Do we have obviously you don't have but do you have like a date, give or take? Like
there's still a lot of
so that has to be.
Yeah, there's still stuff that needs to be put in place, but
maybe like mid-year.
I'm thinking like a Cinco de Mayhem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
May, that's not bad.
Yeah,
it's a good little
it gives them enough time to get everything going, and so throw a lot of Mexican fighters on there and let them.
It would be nice, and then we have a lot of those in the valley. And
there's a couple of them, there's a couple.
And then it'll be kind of cool and then at the same time, kind of coming from, Tachi's grown. Right? I remember I went to college in 2006. And I was telling you, I was in Kalinga.
Yeah.
At the time, you guys didn't have the movie theater and the bowling alley. And, what you guys had. I think even the motel wasn't really, I don't know if it was there at the time.
No, that didn't come till 2006.
Yeah, so you guys are, grown to a point where, I guess you can say I don't know, maybe you can tell me. If you go levels, would you say the biggest casino in the valley is what, Table maybe?
The biggest in the valley?
Because, I say the big three is going to be Chachansi, Table, Tachi.
Yeah.
Big three, as far as I've just learned recently about Eagle Mountain. I know they're growing. And then you got Mono, they're not saying they're not big, not small, but they're growing, right?
Yep.
So I would say, would you say Tachi? Because I haven't been to Tachi in so long, but I know that you guys have invested a lot, done a lot.
We did invest a lot of money into the growth.
Because to even be top three in the valley,
I'm trying to look at all three of them and see which one is bigger, but
because obviously Table just remodeled, right. Chachansi's been newer, so they kind of already brought in the stuff, and then I feel like the other two have kind of caught up. I don't want to call anyone big brother, little brother, because I feel like you guys are all kind of equal at this point. Because really, you think about it, Lemoore has its own area.
Yeah.
Table has kind of their area, and then if you think of Chachansi, kind of has their area. If you really think about it, and
they all have different clientele.
And the reason I want to touch on that is another little kind of secret here is in 26 you're going to bring back poker, possibly.
Yep.
Because
coming back.
I remember
all
Lemoore
poker players out there.
Yeah, all you poker players out there. Sometime in 26 there's going to be poker again. That could. I'm not saying poker hurts, but there's a lot of poker players.
No, there's a lot of poker players.
So you guys probably lost
we
X amount of people.
Yeah, it was a change. We did lose a lot of players, but we didn't really make money off of poker, but we did make money off of the wives, and that's where we made the money off of.
The ones that would go play the slots.
Because you would come play. You'd sit at the table.
You're right.
But your wife would be out there. She'd be 100%. eating at the restaurant. She'd be shopping in the gift shop. She'd be playing on the slot machines. That's the money that we lost.
I understand.
So just because we wasn't making money on poker, we were making it in other areas.
Yeah.
So, but that's so
true though, because if I'm gonna go play poker, the wife's probably gonna go do something else while I sit down. Yeah.
Or now, or go.
Now they have. Now you can go do a bunch of stuff.
You can send your kids over, watch a movie while you go play a couple of hands of poker.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, that's why we created it. I call the casino. I call it cradle to the grave, because we have everything for little kids to play at the arcade. We got bowling, movies. When you turn 18, you can go to the gas station. You can play machines at the gas station. You can play poker. You can play bingo.
I haven't been there in so long.
So you can play. You can.
There's a lot of options.
Turn 18, when you turn 18, there's a lot of things. Then when you turn 21, we got all the bars. And then when you turn 60, then you can play bingo.
Yeah.
That's why I call it cradle to the grave.
Yeah. And then not only that, you guys have, we talked about a little bit prior, you guys are bringing in entertainers.
We're starting to bring in a lot of
comedians and different.
We have a lot of comedians and a lot of shows on the calendar. I really can't.
Disclose.
I can't say
too much.
Yeah. I told you.
No. The one I'm going to tell you is because it's already happened, right? But Creeper.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like he's funny, man. We were talking about it because it's so relatable to the smaller towns and the Central Valley.
Like there's always everybody has a
friend or an uncle or someone that's like that Creeper, that character. Yeah. And I feel like it's so funny. But I remember he came September because I wanted to go so bad, and I wish I would have known you in September. I'd have been like, hey man, because I think he sold out pretty fast.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, man, but maybe sometime we'll talk, and then we'll let everyone know if he comes back in 26 or
everybody loved that guy.
Yeah, no, he's super funny. Yeah. Like I said, that guy is one of the good ones. But that was that. But let's kind of talk about why we came on here. Obviously, you were the general manager as of October, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And you being in the fight game with Ochoa. But let's talk a little bit about Ochoa. So I know Ochoa is not Jeff. So kind of breakdown of how, and I think you talked about a little bit on social media, how you stuck with your old coach's name, but like how did kind of Ochoa come into where it's at today? Yeah,
because like I said, when I first started training, all my cousins and everybody were at Sam Ochoa Kempo Karate, and so I got there, and me and Sam we hit it off, because we were both business guys.
Yeah.
Although he was martial artist, he was still a business owner.
Yeah.
I was always in the business at the casino, so we were always talking, throwing ideas off to each other. He was always talking shit to me,
Yeah. It's always the best friendships.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it was really cool. So he was like a mentor to
for sure.
all of us that really didn't have mentors, And it was a core group. It was all family, and I was in a previous relationship at the time with my son's mom, and she had she kept telling me, she's like, you always go in training, like, why are you always training? What are you training for? And I'm like, oh shit, what am I training for? So that's how I started really taking it serious, and Sam kind of helped me out with that. And then my other coach, Mito Morales, we started working with all the fighters and everything. Well, back in 2007, Sam had he was a diabetic. We knew he was a diabetic, but he never told.
You probably didn't know how bad it was.
We didn't know how bad it was. Yeah, and he didn't tell us that he kind of had a foot injury, which kind of he never took care of, and it's take care of yourself.
Yeah,
always take care of yourself.
I can tell you that right now. I've been pre-diabetic. We're Mexican.
Yeah,
we like to eat things. And if you don't take care of it, it creeps up fast.
Oh yeah, and tell somebody, man.
Yeah.
So he didn't tell anybody, and then it got into his blood, and he ended up passing away in 2007.
Oh.
Well, at that time, we had we had stuff on the calendar, like, so, some of the fighters, like Poppies and, others, they took a whole year off from mourning, but me and Mito, we just kept going, we were Team Ochoa. Well, we figured.
Is Mito your partner from when I go to the events?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's Mito. Yeah. Mito's
quiet guy.
He's like my coach. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't say much.
No, he doesn't. Nope.
A man
Yeah.
of little
I'm the guy. Yeah. He's he's always hitting me like, oh yeah, tell him pull that left.
It's always good to have that friend.
Yeah. So
in this case, that partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up keeping it going. Of course, we lost the gym, so we didn't have a gym. So we started training out of our garage. So we were a garage gym for many years. We trained out of my garage, Mito's garage, back to my garage. So we kind of bounced back and forth, and we did that for a good 15, 16 years. And we had some great fighters. That was the thing. Like we had our. Like I said, I keep saying the first ones, Poppies, Mickey, those guys, Tony, Elenice, all those guys. So they, that was our first crew, and then we started getting into other fighters, later on down the road. That was our first wave, and we had a second wave of fighters, like with Joey Cabezas and Sergio Quinones. And we had all those guys, and then we went to another phase of fighters. Those kind of guys died out. Then we went into another phase with Nick Sierra, Alex Perez, Areola. So we went through that phase. Then we had another phase of fighters. It's crazy. It just keeps on going.
Because you said you have 2 gyms now.
Now we have 2 gyms.
Okay,
yeah.
So the first one is MMA and the other one is
jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, got it. Okay.
Yeah, so we had Mike Martinez. He was one of our fighters back in the day also. And so what we did is when Mike ended up finding his love for jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So he kind of went in a different direction. So he took the jiu-jitsu road, and I stayed on the MMA road.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. And that whole time though, we kept the Ochoa name, out of respect for Sam.
Yeah.
And so we did that for many years, and then so Mito had opened up a gym one time, Ochoa Combat Academy, Ochoa Training Center. Sorry,
okay.
OTC. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but I told Mito, man, you should have a WWE fan. Yeah.
I used to be a WWF fan back in the day.
Yeah. Because there's the tribal chief, they call him Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah.
His things was OTC. I'm like, dude, you should have freaking trademarked that, man. You could have been rich right now. Yeah, but so we did that. We had that gym for a while, and then that's where Alex Perez was with us when he started. Alex is in the UFC now, but he was with us for a long time, and we went through all that. Sent him off to Irvine with Yama, because we can only take fighters so far in Lemoore before we have to be like, hey man, you got too much talent that we can't. We're not going to be able to get you to that next level.
Yeah.
And so that's how Alec went to Irvine with Timo Yama, with Colin Yama, and
you still have relationships with Alex?
Oh man, that's what
conversations.
Yeah, he comes in on town.
Yeah. I think that's how it starts, right? When they come into the gym. I mean, then we can kind of chime in with, like we said, the background of Ochoa here.
Oh yeah.
I liked how we touched on it, the pre-interview, how you said the goal of the gym really is to keep, the kids off, or the young, kids and young teenagers off the street, turning them into younger men. And I think I've obviously, watching the wrestling community and being involved now with the MMA of the Valley, I kind of see of the work ethic, the dedication. Everyone comes through different backgrounds, right? Everyone has a different, I can imagine how you were as a teenager. I know how I was,
Oh, yeah.
And so when you get that type of, training and having to go through it, it kind of keeps you out of trouble, because you're having like you said, when you become in a gym, it almost becomes like you become family, right? You kind of,
definitely.
that's part of like being in sports, any sport, basketball, baseball, football, but especially wrestling and fighting, it turns into more of like a family commitment. But that's kind of how you guys are, right? Trying to help out the community of these younger generation to stay out of trouble?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you guys had a lot of? I mean, I haven't really been to. I haven't been to Lemoore, and I gotta go take a visit out there one of these days with you guys.
Yeah.
Come out.
Check it out. And like, I like to really get to, like I said, I like to kind of sit back, watch everything, and kind of observe. But have you guys had a lot of, you know, kids coming into the Ochoa over the last years? I know that you're growing, because obviously you just kind of...
A lot of teen boys coming in, you know, they don't know which way they want to go. The streets, you know, they have a lot of friends, you know, out there in the streets, and parents bringing them in like, we don't have nothing to do, you know, can you help us, you know? Like, bring them in, you know, and they come in and they help, or, you know, they don't got money, you know, they come from, low income housing, you know, well, we can't pay for fees. Like, okay, mop the floors.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know,
get to work.
Yeah. You know, earn your gym fees here, you know.
And that's kind of, and so where are you guys, you're located in Lemoore then?
Yeah.
Your gym's in Lemoore?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what we'll do is
on the reservation. So, you know, the reservation's 5 miles away from town.
Okay.
But, you know, when I first started the gym, I went in partners with my cousin Mickey, because he took over a boxing gym. So he had a boxing gym, All-Star Boxing, and then I had a little sliver of it. But you know, boxing and MMA they're two different sports.
Yeah,
you know, they don't really go hand in hand. So I ended up getting my own place, and back in 2002, I think it was, October 2002. I'm like, I might as well just get my own spot.
Yeah.
So I got my own place, and then that's how the Ochoa Combat Academy created.
So you've been going on 24 years.
Yeah. Yeah, for a long time, man.
Been a good little run. I mean, and I think the biggest thing about it is, like we talked about a little earlier, consistency, you know?
Oh, yeah.
To say that you've been around for 24 years. And then I think the thing I like that you touched on, honestly, is that most coaches and just gyms, I can't speak on it yet, but I'm learning, is I liked how you said, I can only take a fighter so far before I know I need to hand them off if the talent is too. I think, you know, UFC that's professional. Like that's the top of the food chain when it comes to MMA, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that right there tells me a lot about you care for your fighters. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the coaches don't. I'm just saying that just to have that love for knowing that, hey, man, you know, I could take you to here, but I think you can even go further here. So I think, you know, and maybe, did you recommend him to go out there to Irvine, or did it was
a lot, it had a lot to do with Jeremy and Alex, and you know, them seeing the talent and that he had, and the potential of being able to go even further.
And that's a big thing right there.
Yeah.
And then for even out there to hear it, you know, if they're trying to look into wanting to maybe possibly get into, because people are stud wrestlers, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't know how to box, or you don't have jiu-jitsu, or you don't have this, MMA is different. Right. You know, it's very different. And
wrestling is, dude, I wish I would have known more about wrestling when I first started, because every best fighter I've ever had were wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, Alex Perez, Nick Sierra, you know, all those guys, all those dudes, you know, Robert Barrios, like, all of them, they're all wrestlers.
I think Robert said he came from Lemoore, the high school, the college.
He didn't come from Lemoore. He came from Sierra Pacific. That's in Hanford.
No, but he went out to Lemoore for a little bit, right? Yeah. But that's funny. I mean, and we've had on, so like when I got into the whole, it's kind of like we talked a little bit about how the Lord leads you, right? When I started with Big Dog, I started meeting some people. I got into it with, I had Coach Georgie Moreno on. He's the assistant at Fresno City. His head coach is Paul Keesall. That guy won a national championship. He beat Randy Couture.
That's crazy, huh?
And I'm like, what? You know, and I grew up watching like UFC. My uncles were really big into it. So I kind of grew up watching, like, you know, obviously Randy Couture, the George St. Pierre's, you know, what was the other one? Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz's. And then, like you said, the next wave came. Yeah. And that was like the Cain Velasquez's, the Daniel Cormier's. And my uncle really knew Cain Velasquez. So it was like, but I'm talking about when he was coming up. He wasn't the UFC heavyweight champ at the time. He was, you know, coming up. I'm like, and we all got into it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, shoot, you know, and it was like real cool to see. I was just more of a fan, though. And then I kind of died off, you know. I got, once again, phases, you know, and then got into the next part of my life, went into my career. And not that I mean, I watched it as a general fan. Didn't really. Now, when you're interviewing a fighter or you're at a fight, you know, they're going to be like, hey, what'd you see? And remember, I was telling you, I'm the kind of person where I've been blessed to talk to like Coach Moreno and all these different coaches, all these different camps, and be like, hey, well, come out. And I feel like if I watch it, when I'm actually seeing the fight, I'm like, oh shoot, coach said that about this, and he said that about that, and you just start learning. And even the fighters come on, they'll be like, oh well, this is this or this is that. And I think as this continues to grow, maybe the conversations will be a little different. It's almost like, and I feel like, dang, that's really cool. And then for me, I want everyone out there that are, you know, getting into it, because wrestling is huge in the Valley. You know, we got Buchanan, all these kids at Buchanan, and they're top in, you know, if you're top dog in California, you're top in the nation.
Yeah.
You know,
California wrestling is top.
And I don't think we get a lot of they don't get a lot of publicity. They don't get a lot of people covering it. And now, like you said, now we have the Ochoas, and you got all these different camps around 559 Fights. You know, you're getting all these, you know, Tachi Palace Fights are coming back. You got all these different promotions that people can go. And I think a lot of fighters, if you're not going to go, like we talked about it with Coach Moran on his podcast, most people are not ready to go to like a D1 yet. Because it's not that they're not ready physically. It's like you said, all the background stuff. Now you got to go to school, get in classes. You got to go to practice, you know. And what do we say? When we're kind of younger, we're out there chasing things. We're partying. We're doing this. We're not as organized, you know. And I think, you know, kind of learning and now hearing how you say it, getting into the gym a little earlier as, you know, teenagers, and you kind of learn it. It kind of prepares these kids. And then a lot of times, if you can't really make a D1, right? I mean, even D3 is great. D2 is great. You know? But not only that, now there's options. Now you can come out of high school, college, junior college, D1, whatever, come back and you're working. But hey, there's Ochoa here. There's this gym here. There's this gym here. You get back into it. And now, before you know it, you're fighting at a 559 event. You're fighting at a Tachi Palace event. And it's like, you never know where it can go, especially if you put, I think at the end of the day, it's like anything. You put your heart and soul into something that you're trying to build. Like this podcast, if I just did it, even though we took November off, if I just did it like, you know, once every few months, it's probably not going to go where it can go.
Right.
But at one point I was podcasting 2-3 times a week, you know, and then people, I was telling you the background of it, people, it's the editing and then this and then that. But I feel like now I get more excited when I talk to people, because our pre-interview was a whole interview. If we would have had a podcast, you would have like, that was, and that always happens. But I mean, there's just certain things that obviously we can talk about and we can't talk about on camera. But what's kind of next for Ochoa? Like, what are the plans for 26? Because I mean, obviously we know that Tachi is gonna grow, but what's like the next step? I know that you just added jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, we had about a year ago.
Yeah, we had.
Okay, so that's within
so in 24. Well, which is crazy, because that was a kind of like a full circle for me and Mike Martinez. Mike Martinez, like I said, he took off and he did his jiu-jitsu thing, and you know, I stuck with MMA. Now he's a black belt under he's under Elite, you know, with his crew over there, but he was looking for a place. He was looking for a home. He was there in Lemoore. Then he moved over to Hanford, and then I took over the spot that he was at. You know, because that's how I got to where I'm at right now. So I had got the build in. We were doing MMA out of there, and I kept telling my landlord, like, "Hey, what are we gonna do with the unit next door? Like, it's been empty for like a year already." You know, so we made a deal, and I got that one. So then now I have 2 units, and I was doing wrestling out of there. We were overflow boxing, whatever. And then Mike, you know, we started talking. You know, I told him maybe it's time for you to come back home. You know, because he was a Ochoa. You know, although he flies the Elite banner, he's at the end of the day, he's always a Ochoa blood.
That's where you guys met.
Yeah. And so you know, we talked, and he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, come back home." And so he's like, "All right." And so he came back, and so that's how we got Elite Lemoore back in there. And so so now it's kind of made a full circle. He started with us, and you know, went all the way around. Oh, I was to tell you too.
Yeah, what's up?
Mike Martinez fought Luke Rockhold. When you were talking about DC and Kane, you know, like we fought them over at Eagle Mountain. I'm at Table Mountain.
That's crazy. And Luke Rockhold was the champ. For UFC for a little bit. So I mean, like I said, that's cool to like. I feel like when I was just telling you guys talking to all these guys that are these youngsters that are coming up in these fights, and when Tachi Palace Fights comes back, hopefully Inside the Pod will lose there and get to see these fighters. when you never know who could be the next Luke Rockhold or the Cain Velasquez's or the Daniel Cormier's or Alex Perez's. Like, just to get there, I don't think people quite understand. Like, it's so hard.
It is.
And then we talked about it.
About the guys who are not even in the UFC yet, who are like right on the cusp. You know, like the Avalos brothers, man. Those guys are little monsters.
Yes, and then they're out of Parlier. Small town boys. You know,
they're just like one fight away from there, you know. Like you see it, you know, you see them grow from, you know, just, you know, little Parlier guys to, you know, Christian Avalos is like land shark and beast and everywhere.
He's like you said, he's literally one fight away from probably going, you know, to the Contender Series or boom, you know, like you just don't know.
He can just get that call one day, like, hey, we need somebody to call out, you know, can you take a spot, you know?
And I think the cool thing about him is, like I said, it's the small town. Like, what? That guy's, you know. And then we talked to Alejandro the last fight, and just, man, hearing him talking, like, you know, he's getting to the point now where, you know, he's a coach, he's cornering, he's mentoring, he's helping, and I could hear it and see it in him when I'm talking to him, you know.
So when Alejandro fought at Tachi, I had him. It's funny because he had came in one time. We were having an event, and it was the same time that we were talking to the Carruthers High School. The Carruthers High School comes in. We do like a career day thing, and like every one of us directors will go in and tell them, like, you know, like, hey, you know, I'm Jacob Jeff, director of slots. You know, I run the casino. General manager now. But it was cool because like Alex was there, Alejandro was there, and I go, hey, bro, come talk to the kids. And he's like, what? Yeah, he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, come talk to the kids with me. And he's like, what am I going to talk about? Talk about your fighting, man. Your training, your this. I go, because they don't want to hear some boring ass story about slot machines. They want to hear, you know, what you're doing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so I brought him in, and he talked to the kids in front of the from Carruthers High School.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he
do you do that? You guys do that now? Do you still do that with Carruthers High School?
We do that every year.
Do you guys do? Is that open to any high school?
Yeah, any high school that
there
wants
you go.
To
Hey, I'm gonna try to shoot out some of these smaller West Side schools.
Yeah,
get them out there.
Yeah, take them to the casino. We give them them lunch and everything. And
now we got each other's information, so I could be like, hey, I'm gonna shoot over because we did this year. I did football, right? Because football is easy. You know, it's every Friday. So I would go on to the schools on Wednesdays. I'd interview with coach and I'd interview with some of the players. The goal for me is to just do seniors. That way, it's like you have to work at it. You know, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, you get on the podcast, you get interviewed, right? And that'd kind of be cool because now, like you said, that's unique and different. You know, going to the casino, but not only that, what the casino offers. Especially now, you're probably like telling them, hey, we got. You know, if there's a fighter, or there's maybe an influencer or a comedian or whatever the case may be, I mean, that's kind of cool. Or even your story. You went from where you're at now to general manager. That's not a slouch thing, bro. You're running like the entire casino.
The entire thing, dude.
And that's like, wow. You know, and then that's the come up, though. That's the hearing about the Avalos brothers. You're like, man, Parlier, these guys. Like, I mean, I'm going to manifest it when one of them either goes, because I don't want to. Alejandro, you never know, right? But Christian's right there. If he goes, he can obviously say, Dan, that kid's from Parlier. You know? Obviously, we're in Farball now. I grew up in Mendota, but Farball, I mean, off topic of fighting, you got Josh Allen. You know? The kid was the NFL. Oh, not a kid. The young man was an NFL MVP last year. Potentially now that the Chiefs may not, all the fans out there, the Chiefs may not make the playoffs. They always say that was Josh Kryptonite. You never know. Imagine he wins the Super Bowl. From Farball?
From Farball?
Like, I mean, just that he won the MVP is still like, what? But and that's a movie in itself. But you win the Super Bowl, bro, you're going to probably have a movie made, you know? And so it's just kind of cool to see, like, I think that's what the kids say. Like, when I would go out and talk to the kids and they'd be like, oh, and I'd be like, bro, there could be a Josh Allen in this. You don't know who's who.
You don't know.
Because he was not that big, wasn't recruited. Boom. Same thing with these wrestlers. You don't know who's going to turn into what. Because they may go, or these teenagers you guys are bringing in, making them mop and do their thing. They may come in, bro, and he may hit the ground running, and you may see like, oh, this kid has it, and you have the connections and the people to get him to that next level. You know,
that's how you know if they really are wanting help or wanting to stay off the streets. You know, if they grab that mop to mop the floors, then you're like, okay, they want to help, or they want to be here. Because some kids, you know, they're hard-headed. They're like, no, I'm not cleaning for you. Or,
no, for sure.
I'm not going to do that. You know, I just want to punch somebody. Like, you know.
And anybody you want. You pay your gym fees.
And that's so true.
But and you know, mopping is not just, you know, gym fees. It's just seeing if you know their character, if they're going to follow instructions, or if they're going to, you know, follow the next person in line that's in the gym that's been there for
and that's what I tell my fighters too. Like, don't put yourself above it. You know, like just because you had a couple fights under your belt, like don't stop mopping. You know, like don't stop mopping, dude. You got to keep yourself humble, right?
Yeah.
You know, so you know when those young kids, because they look up to all the fighters. You know, they look up to all the fighters in the gym. Yeah. And if they see the fighters that are
like slacking off, or hear them talking about going to party or something,
taking 25 minutes, wrapping their hands while everybody else is doing warm ups.
Got it. Yeah.
Like you gotta still be humble about it and still get in there and grab a mop every once in a while. Because little kids are gonna see that. Yeah. You know, and they're gonna be like, oh shit, I'm gonna mop too.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, if he does it, I'm gonna do it, you know? Yeah. And he's already fighting and he's this or he's that.
Or he's a champion. Yeah. You know, like
no, that's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, pretty sure now that you just got it in October, but you've been with Tachi for the longest. Oh, yeah. Now that you're the head honcho there.
So I started when I was 16 at Tachi, after school washing dishes. And then I did that for 2 years. And then I turned 18. I went, I was selling pull tabs. And then I worked maintenance. I did janitorial, facilities maintenance. And, you know, I worked my way up the ladder, you know. So I did all that. I became the manager for janitorial services. Then I went to gaming commission. So I was part of the regulatory body there. I was only there for like a month, and then they made me chairman of the gaming commission. So I ran the entire regulatory side, which is background surveillance, compliance, and then helping negotiate with the tribal compacts. And then I went over to slots, and I stayed in the slots for 22 years, you know, as a slot director. So I took it from where it was 22 years ago to where it's at now, you know, and then now I moved up, and now I'm the general manager. So it's not like I was given this, and I had to
earn it.
Yeah. I started slaving, washing dishes, and now I'm,
So like, okay, so general manager, obviously it's kind of the boss, but do you go to work and you still kind of walk around the casino? You're involved in pretty much everything that goes on.
Yeah, I talk to everybody. I don't care. I have better working relationships with the janitors and the cooks than I do the CFO. Yeah, serious, dude. I mean, it sounds kind of cliche.
No, and I believe it.
No, I walk around and I talk to everybody, man. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, it's just
we talk about being humble. I'm saying
a lot of people don't even realize that I am the general manager. You know.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't have known. I can tell you, I'm gonna fly everywhere I go. The one thing I will always say that I love about my past career is I've learned to just go somewhere and just listen. Mm-hmm. You know, and then when I listen, I observe a lot. You know, I'm hearing a lot. I'm like I said, I remember I was talking to somebody back in the day. You guys had the best damn sports show ever.
Oh yeah.
On at Tachi, right?
Yeah.
So you guys had
show.
Chris Rose and Dan, the actors, right? And John Sally.
Yeah,
and they had there. Tony, the fighter, right?
Yeah. They called it the best damn sauna show on TV or something like that.
They did, and they were around for a while. They're popular. Yeah. That show was like not a show that was a year or two. They did it
because it was they chose it. We used to do outside shows, so we did it outside, and they decided that they wanted to come to a show at that event. And I'm like, maybe we should come like in August, you know, or October.
Because the fall, it's not so hot.
No, they came in June, you know, or something like that. And it was like 103 degrees outside, but underneath the lights and everything, it turned like 112. You know, and so watching John, all those guys out there.
That's kind of cool, dude.
Yeah.
Because when someone told me that, they're like, I was like, oh shoot. You know what I think he told me? Boxing Vitals, Rick.
Oh yeah, Rick.
Yeah, because he said he was there.
A long time.
He's known a lot too, and shout out to Boxing Vitals. I mean, when I'm kind of doing my thing, and he's kind of like, oh, well, talk to this person, and this person, and it's like I'm telling you the little funny story I will talk about real quick about Dan Manriquez.
Yeah.
So he's obviously a referee now.
Yeah.
He was my drill instructor. And so it's kind of wild how the second part of our lives, he's in here. I got to meet MMA pretty much legend, Chris Lieben. He's a UFC ref now. Or he's a referee for MMA.
Yeah.
And he was at the Eagle Mountain. And I was like... And when I looked at him,
he fought at Tachi too.
Yeah, well, see, that's the cool part. And when I saw him, I told my wife, I was like, I think that's Chris Lieben.
Yeah,
you know. And she's like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, he was a UFC guy. He's pretty much like a legend. He fought for a long time. And
so I was like, Fighter season 1, man.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, huh? Yeah. I mean, even like LeVar, I had LeVar in this chair. You know, like. LeVar's I think he's in the Hall of Fame now for the UFC or for MMA, right?
Well, he's in the Hall of Fame at Tachi Palace.
See, so there you go. I was like, it's just to even be around those people, those names, to get to meet them and to know like that, hey man, they're just like, you know, even like
they're normal people.
Talking to you, bro, like I met you initially as Robert's coach, you know, so I'm like, okay, and then hearing like something, the fly on the wall, kind of like, and then never always cool. Yeah. And then we'll kind of jump on your next project because you got projects.
Oh, I got a bunch of stuff going.
I was talking about how I'm a shoe guy. Right? I was telling you how I went through this phase of like I wanted to get all these Jordan 11s. I don't know why, dude. Yeah. And so I started buying all of them. And when I seen that you put that you restore shoes, I was like, what the heck? I got about you saw the ones out there. They're not in horrible condition, but I got about 6 or 7 of those that are all the different, you know, the releases that he had.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that you restored, I was like, because you'll go online, you'll look, and it's like there's no one around our area that does it.
No.
And so let's talk a little bit about that. How did that happen?
So the way that happened was
because you also said sneaker tech. Okay, and is that part of the shoe? Is that part of that? Okay. So I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So when I got into the shoe thing, it was because of Coach Mito.
Okay.
You know, Mito, he was doing all these shoes things. I'm like, bro, where are you getting those shoes from? He's like, I ain't telling you. And I'm like, man, come on, man. So I started buying shoes from him, you know, and then he finally put me onto his connection. His connection. So when I jumped on, I was like, dude, I started buying like every shoe. Like, oh, I want that shoe, I want that shoe. And then, you know, after getting into the game a little bit more, and I started looking at the shoes that I was collecting. Oh man, hundreds of them, you know, but I'm like, they're not worth anything. You know, you get the stuff you can go down to Foot Locker and get, you know, then I'm like, I want like those shoes. I want the Grails, you know, I want to start looking at those. So I started selling all those other shoes, all the Dunks, you know, the Jordan 1s, you know, the stuff, like I said, the stuff you can get, you know, at Foot Locker.
Yeah.
You know, so I started trading all those in, selling them. And then I started getting, you know, more of the upscaled one, you know, the Travis Scotts and, you know, the Bart Simpsons, Power Puffs, you know, like classic, you know, like signature shoes, you know,
like the shoes that are really hard to get. Collectors.
Collectors. Yeah. So that's.
And do you get them? I think they call it. Do you get them dead stock when you don't wear them?
Oh no, I wear my shoes.
Okay.
Yeah,
a lot of people they buy them dead stock.
Yeah, dead stock. They just leave them. Yeah, they wrap.
I have a buddy. So like he kind of like you said. Hey, you had your buddy that was a plug.
Yeah.
He initially, I think he used to work like at Champs.
Oh yeah.
But I know he still had a plug. He never told me, but this dude would just buy shoes for dead stock, like just to say I have those, but he doesn't wear them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't you wear them?
Yeah.
Like,
because they're too pretty.
Are you gonna sell them later, or like they not?
But that's the thing.
Just say I have
the people. That's how it was. It was like you got all these nice shoes, but then now you got to clean them. You can't wear them out because then you're gonna get them dirty. And I'm like,
that's true.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how to clean suede. They don't know how to clean. You know, they don't know how to clean that.
And how did you learn? YouTube?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Then I bought this course thing on how to clean shoes, and it was like in like 11 different sections, and it took you through how to ice the bottoms, how to do the suede, how to do leather, how to recondition, how to reglue, how to resole. You know, so I just started getting into it. You know, and like Amber said earlier. It's like therapy to me because I got so much shit going on with the casino, with the gym.
Just to get away.
So much stuff. Yeah. To get a pair of dirty shoes and just sit there and just grab your little tool and just start picking out all the dirt and everything from inside the sole, you know, the grooves and everything. Just sit there and everything just kind of goes away, you know. Yeah. So that's why it's therapy for me. But then I started thinking, well, shit, everybody needs shoes cleaned.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we're bringing it up now, because like I know a lot of people that still collect and have shoes, and like I said, I can't think of anyone locally until, like I said, now that I have Facebook and I seen that you're like posting that you clean shoes, and I'm like, what the heck? And then that's why I jammed you up today. I was like, hey, can you clean these? You're like, I can do it. All right, dude.
Yeah, when I was looking at them, I'm like, oh, that's easy. Yeah.
Because they're not horrible. Like I said, I just wore them.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, wow, I want.
Well, the price I gave you, that's what the normal price. That's not the home and hook.
No, yeah. We'll talk about that. Yeah. Well, remember, I go, give me the price that you would normally charge.
Yeah.
You told me the price was all right, cool. And I was like, all right, because like I said, when I looked online at the time, I was looking, and people, man, they charge. You know, and then not only that, they're not even close.
Yeah,
you got to ship.
So you got to shit. Yeah, and it's like, man.
Yeah, like here, I can meet you in Fresno, man.
No, yeah, I'll go over there to you, because I need to go. I need to go check out Ochoa.
Yeah, then you got to check out Tachi.
And I got to check out. I got to get a glimpse of Tachi. Now I haven't seen it since.
For the food.
Okay, and do you guys? They have like a massage thing too there, no?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because I've always like I've been trying to like, I tell my girls, we gotta go over there and just like
get
a massage and chill. Like you said, just get like a normal chill day.
But we don't have brown paper on our windows, so it's not those kind of massages. So.
I'm good. I'll have the box there anyway. But I'm in town, like even like a family day, because we can go to the bowling, movies, the massage, and then then dude, like you can pretty much get it, because for us it's literally an hour and a half.
Or if it's foggy, then just stay there.
Yeah, I'm planning on just staying there.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the motel, take advantage of all the stuff
Pool's
you guys
heated.
have.
Yeah, so
heated pool.
Yeah.
The goal for me down the road is I always wanted a hot tub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I like with me, I like to just, I don't know if it's because of, like I said, wearing the duty belt for so long.
Oh yeah.
I get like back pain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I could just sit back, and I'm always wanting, and I've been looking, and I had found one guy, but at the time when my money gets right again, it's like to come to Fireball. You know, charge for the mobile and to get here. And so do I want to go to you? So it's like, I'm trying to figure that out. But I was like, you know what? I told my wife, I always wanted to get a hot tub. And then I can be able to just do my thing, relax, come back in. And then I want to get the cold plunge. Right now it's super cold, but down the road to actually like go in there, they say cold plunge.
I got one. It's still in the box.
Still in the box.
Well, I was like, when you do get it and open it up, let me know how it goes, because I hear that people talk about it has great benefits.
Yeah.
To your health.
I need to do it. Yeah.
Because I'm talking about what we talked about a little bit about the diabetic.
I get free ice from the casino, so
you're good. You're good. Yeah, I know. We had remember I was telling you we had a guy named Christian Johnson on. Mm-hmm. And funny thing is, he did 7 continents in 7 days. He ran 31.2 miles per continent. It's a world record. So he's the first male to complete it. There was a female that had done it like in 2017. So he came on the podcast from Madera, right?
Yeah.
So talking about Central Valley talent, And so I'm like, bro, you're a crazy freak athlete like that. You're like top 20 in the world probably.
Yeah.
And we were here on the podcast, and you're just in Madera. But long story short, he bought so you can get, I don't know if you bought where you bought it. Did you buy the plunge on like TikTok? No. Or did you buy a legit
I bought a
setup?
Legit.
So supposedly, when I was talking to him, he owns a company where his is like maybe it's from him.
Oh, maybe.
Because I think he said you can Google his name, or you can ask like Surrey, and it's a certain name, and I'll have to get it from him later to push it, because he talked about it on the podcast. But he's the guy that has he does that, like the legit plunges.
That's crazy.
And it's a good little. I know you pay, if I'm thinking what he told me, I know you paid a pretty little penny for it.
Yeah.
For it to stay in a box for a year.
Yeah.
But you'll get it out one day.
I'll get it out one day. Yeah.
When you said
when it's high.
Right now it's super, like I said, you guys had came.
Shoot, just put water
and our breaker went out, and at the time I was like, oh man, like this house was built in 77.
Yeah.
Right. So when I came in, we did all the electrical, we were modeled, we did our thing. I never switched my panel though.
Oh.
So my breakers are so old school. You can't go to Home Depot. No, you can't go to. You got to order a special order.
Yeah.
So I was my thing was like, I had my cousin's my electrician, so he's like, hey, you got to check with the company that put the AC and the heater in, just to make sure it's not why it's shorting out.
Yeah.
So my buddy came and checked, and now both brick boxes were burnt out. So then we ordered them, and I was like, has it always been this cold in this house? Because I never used to believe in really running the heater because I have solar.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if we run the heater, it goes off of gas. That's PG&E.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, say we run it, I don't know, once a day, twice a day.
Yeah.
That's $300-400 into the month.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah. And it's a little expensive. I would tell her like, nah, just get a blanket, you know? I grew up with no heater, no AC, but
Yeah.
I'm like, because we have nothing but tile through the whole house.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so it's colder.
Super cold.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why when you guys got here, I'm like, hey, you guys want some hot chocolate? Because I apologize.
I haven't had hot chocolate in a long time, man.
But yeah, no, I mean, kind of like, let us know a little bit about, like, I guess, kind of what you do behind the scenes real fast. But, you know, kind of, I mean, and the goal is too, like, today was just more of like a introduction.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, like, but I told you guys the goal for me is I want to bring you guys to KC and we'll kind of really push it out, you know, and then we'll kind of have an idea of, you know, now we did the first one and it flowed pretty good. I mean,
like
we just went in.
Yeah.
I really, like I said, I kind of have like how I'm going to ask questions, but the way the conversation is going to go, I just let it flow.
Yeah.
I don't watch other stuff. I kind of, like I said, I want it to be real raw and authentic in the combo. And I felt today was great as
That's
far
what
as
I liked about it. It was like
Yeah, it's just
a conversation.
yeah.
it's just a conversation. Yeah, it's just a conversation, and kind of like with my guests, it's like, well, what do you want to talk about? You know, I will chime off of your, you know, how you want to bring it. Like I said, I think the cool thing about yours, at least with Tachi, is the history behind MMA.
Yeah,
is like how it started. You kind of broke it down. I think how people got to see how, like, because 559 was built in 2012.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's kind of cool to even hear Jeremy was involved with you prior with the other stuff.
Do you know how he got involved with me?
I did not. No.
No. So,
I'm telling you, I barely met Jeremy. The same amount of times that I've seen you, I've seen Jeremy.
So Jeremy's nickname is called the Project.
Oh shoot!
Yeah. So
the Project.
Jeremy the Project Lukow.
Okay.
And
was he a fighter too?
Yeah, he's fought.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fought 3 times. He's 2-1. He's a Ochoa also.
Nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, but he'll tell you.
So you're breaking down some history right
Yeah.
here. Okay.
So yeah, Jeremy Lukow is also a Ochoa.
Nice.
So
that's how you guys originally met then.
yeah, well, we met at the casino because he was doing he was covering sports. He wrote for the Hanford Sentinel. He was a sports writer for Hanford Sentinel.
Oh shoot! He's a journalist.
He's a journalist. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he would cover all high school sports. He covered her sports.
Yeah, when I was in high
soccer.
school, that's how I met him before he met him.
Yeah. And so he covered her. He covered like other sports, and he started covering the fights and stuff. And so we started getting a cool little relationship, and he's starting to become one of the boys. And Christian Printup, had mentioned he's the one that did Tachi Palace Fights or Palace Fighting Championships. Jeremy was there, and then we're like, let's do a project, man. And I was like, all right, what do you want to do? He's like, so that kid that we got that's doing the sports writing, let's do like a writer to fighter thing, and we'll sponsor him throughout his entire thing. And the goal is to start him he's a sports writer, and he's going to write every week his journey through MMA. And we were like, all right, let's do it. So we sat down with Jeremy. Jeremy was like, fuck yeah, let's do it then. So yeah, so we sponsored him. Went from a skinny little tough boy to to a fighter. Yeah, so he came on with the Choas. We trained him. We sent him out to a couple other places. That a Muay Thai coach called Richard, his name was Richard Batten. He was doing strength and conditioning. And every week he would write about it. He'd put it in the Hanford Sentinel, and then then he took his first fight at Palace Fighting Championships back in 2007, 8.
Dang, that's cool.
Yeah. So he did his first fight at Tachi. His second fight at where's the second fight at? But anyway,
you really broke down the history. I would have never.
Yeah, so Jeremy,
I would have never known that.
Yeah, Jeremy, don't think he's a slouch, man. That guy has 3 fights under his belt.
Okay, I never thought he was a slouch, but I figured. I always figured.
Don't think Jeremy's a slouch, man. That guy got skills.
Yeah, like I said, when I first met him, everything, like I said, I really feel like when this is all said and done of what this podcast turns into, it's gonna be such a testimony and be like, this is not me, this is all God. Like, I had no reason to be in the fight game. Right. Yeah. And that's why I say shout out to George Zuniga for giving me an opportunity. Was one of my coworkers, did their event. Everyone was been so kind, started doing my thing. The power of social media. People started reaching out to me. Hey, do you want to do this? as I started getting involved, I started knowing like people that I knew who knew people who knew this, who knew that. I'm like,
small community,
the heck?
man.
It's small world, small community, small everything.
Yep.
And then I start meeting all the fighters now because 559. Everyone started doing my thing, and then I'm like, okay, boom, boom, boom. And like I told you off camera that I will keep for now. I was like, there's an opportunity for me to do something else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to go directly to here. I want to build, because I want to be able to say when I'm interviewing or I'm at things, I call it boots on the ground. I want people to think like, hey, I went out and I put my time in. Like I learned the fighting. I talked to coaching. I talked to the fighters. And at the same time, I wanted to where, who knows who the next Christian Avalos is going to be? Yeah. Who knows who the next, Alejandro Avalos is going to be, or the next Robert Barrios, or whoever has the next Cisco Hurtado.
Yeah,
it's going to be like, and it's like, that's why. And then I talk to the guys, I talk to the fighters, I get to know them, know the coaches, and in this sense, even the families, and they're like, that's crazy. Like they're just like me and my wife, and like I said, I think they were just all people, but I'm meeting them not even knowing anything about them, meaning what they do power wise, who they are, this or that. The first time I had Cisco on, we're talking, it was such a hey, figure it out. I was like, bro, I don't even hey, you're fighting on this day, what time, how many fighters, who's the guy? He named who Jeremy was, because I already knew, at the time, shout out to MLH Media, Michael Hernandez, I already knew him. So I'm like, but I was like, now that I'm kind of getting in it, like if the next fighters I want to bring on, I kind of have an idea how I really want to start setting up the interviews now. Because now I'm doing my homework as far as, hey, well, give me the card. I want to start, and what I want to do down the road, eventually as this grows, I want to start, okay, if I'm going to interview this fighter, I'm going to go to his camp first. I'm going to go to his gym. So that way I can be like, okay, let me just scope it out. I don't want to be in the way, I just want to kind of see. And then obviously I'll talk to coach first, because that's the most respectful thing to do, is like, hey, is it okay if I chime in or just watch practice? And from there, we'll kind of go. Because I think down the road, what I want to really do is I want to bring like, Tachi Palace Fights can be big, 559 is getting big, like, Big Dog's getting big. I want to like bring like that embedded. Where like you kind of start off in the, as you wake up, like, hey, what do you do? And I think I want the Valley to really see like, hey, he works. Hey, she works. Hey, he works. Like they don't just go. I mean, not all. I mean, but there's a small percentage that fighters are just sponsored. But most of these guys are 9 to 5s. And they're busting their chops, and then they're going to practice,
or they're practicing before they even go to work. Or during lunchtime.
And so I kind of want to do that. I want to follow them around, and then I want to push it into where it's like, oh, boom, and then before the fight or however we do it, and it's like, okay, so that way everyone's like, dang, and then it's more relatable. And it's like, this guy does, like, for example, like with Matthew, I'll be on Matthew Vargas. He's a technician, he's over there doing something that you're like, what the heck, and so like, or I think I only go off of them. Carlos he cuts hair, he's a barber.
Robert
so you're too. So you're like, you're right there, like, hey, these guys are just normal people. But on every occasional Saturday of every other month, they're
fighting something,
either headlining, co-fighting, or they're like you said, they're letting that. I liked how it's like controlled anger. They were saying, because in reality, you do that in the street, you're going to get in trouble. You're either going to get charged, you're going to go to jail, you're going to be in some trouble.
It's a mental toughness. That's what I tell my fighters. It's like, if you go on the street and you bump into somebody and you start fighting, it happens like that. But to know that, on January 9th, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to get locked in a cage with another person, and I'm going to have to fight. And hopefully that third person in the ring will stop it before I get too hurt or before I hurt somebody, And then
I want to be able to be the guy right now that's learning. Is like, what's the mindset, dude? Exactly. What does you feel when that cage closes? Because you could watch it from the stands. I could watch it as a journalist or as a media guy, but I don't know that thought process. Like when, oh shoot, it's closed.
I mean,
this is real.
Like the whole weigh-in part of it. That's that's the whole event in itself, because you're just trying to make the weight. You get on that, you're like dead, drained, and you'll see it. They'll look at the scale, they'll look at the scale, and all of a sudden it shows 170, and you're like, all of a sudden you're like,
Because
they finally
2 seconds.
But
it's all mental, like you said.
Yeah. And then then you rehydrate and get it. But then that's the first part, because then the second part is showing up to the event. You're going into the back, everybody's like, oh, hey, what's up? And then you're like sitting there and you're looking around, and they're like, hey, get your hands wrapped. And then you're like, fuck, all right. So you're sitting there, put your headphones on or do whatever you do and getting your hands wrapped. And then, there's somebody that comes in before you, there's somebody that's on the card before you. They come back and they're all busted up. And then you're like, oh, fuck. Like this shit's real,
Yeah. See, that's what I want them to hear, because you're talking about it now from a fighter's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is it like as the coach?
Oh, as a coach, oh fuck, this is a time of my life, man, because I'm not getting hit.
But I mean, like, let's say, for example, like when you're fighting for,
so say with Robert.
Yeah, because like you had a title fight.
Yeah.
So like,
so
what's that mindset fight for you going in?
So it was tough, man, because like, being watching him start from his journey to that title fight was, I never took Robert serious at the beginning. When he first started.
Yeah, I saw the text message.
Yeah, he saw the text message. Yeah. So when he first started, he came in. It's my cousin. He wants to get some work, and I knew he was a wrestler.
Yeah, at the time, mainly for health.
Yeah,
talking about
he was a big boy.
Yeah,
he was a big boy, and we didn't have a lot of big boys in there. We had a lot of little dudes, but. I kept telling him, I kept telling him to fight their weight class, which means he had to try to move like a 170 pounder or 185er, when he was 300 pounds. But, to be able to watch him go from, that to fighting for a title, that's almost like watching your little kid, graduate high school or win that first touchdown, get that first goal as a soccer, in soccer, to be able to see all that, because your kid sucked, for all that time, and then all of a sudden he's fucking winning, and but that's that was it's a whole different aspect when you take a fighter from ground zero to to top the pinnacle, it's crazy, and you get invested in it. You get invested in it emotionally, financially, because these kids don't got money. A lot of them don't have money, and you're putting your own money into them, because nobody's going to sponsor a random kid from
that they don't know anything about.
Don't know anything about.
And at the end of the day,
there's like 20 social media followers.
And that's the one thing that I think as we grow too, I noticed that me not posting in November hurt my numbers. But these guys don't post ever. Because they don't know, or they they just want to fight, or they're so drained from you busting their chops for 3 hours, and then they had to go bust a 10-hour or an 8-hour shift. They don't want to, they don't want to do it, and I'm learning that right now. I'm like,
you have to. I mean, if you want to be successful, you have to be on all aspects of your game, your diet, your social, your social media, your social outside there. Your what is it called?
Mental health,
your communication. You have to be able. You have to be a salesperson. It depends on how bad you want it.
Yeah, you're right.
They have to take time away from their own family. People don't realize the fighters and the coaches, and even like myself, we take a lot of time away from our own families to make it happen. And sit there and train with them and watch them cut weight and help them, get their nutrition and everything done. It takes a whole team to do that. People don't realize that it's not a one-man show.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's almost like in a way, like a mama bear and papa bear.
Definitely. They're I tell them all the time, I'm like, you guys don't realize, I got anxiety every time you go into that ring, because you guys are like my kids. I'm there. When you're hurt, you're like, Amber, how do you fix this? Or Amber, my shorts are ripped, how do you fix this? Or Amber, I need water, or just the randomest things. And I'm like, how old are you? I know you guys know how to take care of yourself, but
it's just like
I'm there, and so it's always Amber, because Jacob can't fix it.
I don't fix it.
he's just
there. And that's his job. Yeah, that's what he says. My job is to coach. Everything else is her.
Because when she came to the gym, because I'm such a big hearted person. I was pulling my own money out of my own pocket to pay, the rent, the lights, the utilities and everything. And then finally I just like you handled that gym fees. I'm just going to train, and then like a week later, she's like, all right, gym fee, rent's paid. Like, how the fuck did you do that? She's like, I made them pay gym fees. I'm like, oh yeah. Maybe I should have did that. I wouldn't.
But I think it's honestly, it's a different. And I'm the same, bro. Like that's why yesterday was my wife's birthday. Shout out to my wife.
Happy birthday.
She was just I put it on there like inside the pod with Lou. Just like Ochoa is not gonna run without the back. Like you said.
Yep.
And so I think I've learned that and about being humble.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not gonna lie, dude. When I first started, I'm like, I'm the talent. I'm just gonna come on and I'm just gonna interview and I'm gonna podcast and that's all I want to do. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
You have to. And in this sense, I'll kind of bring it back to that analogy is you have to go mop.
Yep.
And the mopping is going to be the social media post, helping with what, scheduling.
Learn who you're interviewing.
Learn who you're interviewing. I've learned that, like I said, I won't, now that I'm learning the fighters and I'm kind of, okay, hey, that's that guy. Or hey, this is this guy. Mm-hmm. And what trips me out the most, bro, like still kind of like, it makes me feel good too. Is like, hey, bro, you're inside the pod with Lou. Like, hey, I want to come on your podcast. I'm like, yeah, like, okay. Because I'm still like, I kind of think I know you, but I don't know you because I'm still learning. Like, it's not that I don't know you because you're not somebody. Yeah. It's just I don't know you because
pictures and names.
I'm still trying to figure it out. So like, I think the thing that tripped us out, and this is, like I said, on this end, as far as the media goes, what I'm learning is, I was telling you guys when I had Matt and Robert on, it felt like little cousins. Right?
Yeah.
And then when the new champ hit, he's like, hey, what's up? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, you're going to do that to Robert? And I'm like, well, it's not that I'm doing anything bad to Robert. It's just, this is our job. We're media.
Yeah.
Like, we have to move on to the next fighter.
Yeah.
And that's regardless if Robert wins or loses, or vice versa. If this person wins or loses, like I'll never forget my first two fighters I interviewed. It's always going to be Cisco Hurtado and Isaiah Walls. I'll never forget them, and not in a bad way. That's who I first started fighting with,
Yeah.
And then same thing, like I'll never forget that, my buddy George Zuniga gave me an opportunity. I always remember that, grateful. And it's like, okay, these are the people, right?
Yeah.
And now that I'm getting to see it, I think this last time I was like, I'm just going to go in as like at Eagle.
Yeah.
I go, whether Robert wins or loses, I'm just going to go in as media.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to interview him regardless. And obviously he won and it felt different. Like, okay, this is what we were meant to be, and there's this and there's that. But I could think it's not that, because it's your mama bear, your papa bear. It's like for me, I can't ever get myself involved. Like, but you're gonna regardless, because you're gonna meet the people. I mean, but like I tell the fighters and like I told everyone that's come on, I'm always gonna root for you.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be Team Ochoa. But the thing is, like when Team Ochoa fights Team this, and I'm not gonna root for nobody. I'm just gonna hope that nobody gets hurt.
Yeah.
And then hey, just get your run backs. Go back into the gym, work harder. Kind of, And my thing is, I want to bring everybody on, but I've learned why you can't interview the person that just lost, because we just talked about it. Another fighter can come on because they have a time frame, right? Especially if you're on live TV or you're over the like 559, they view they go over on that 53, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they have a time slot, right?
Yep.
So the next fighter can come out, bro. The thing about MMA is you don't know if it's gonna go the full fight or if it's gonna go a minute.
Yeah.
So if you're in there interviewing the person that just won, and then you have the person that just lost waiting, it's like, well, now you got to interview the next one.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's why I get it, where I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I had to see, because I felt bad. I'm like, well, she just worked this as hard. Why can't I interview her?
Yeah.
But I didn't tell them that. In my head, I'm thinking like, oh, dang, that's, and then I see, like you said, it's the motions. Sometimes maybe they don't even want to interview, like, because it's, you train an 8-week camp to go get knocked out in a minute because you get caught.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you don't want to talk. You just want to go in wherever you got to go mentally. And I understand that, not getting knocked out, but I'm like, I understand about how it feels to be put down. And I don't want to talk to nobody, So I feel like that has helped me a little bit.
that's the thing I don't really, you hit it right there. You talked about the channel 53 thing, is that we've been on that, on the 5 for 9 card where we were that 4th, 5th fight, and so we were out there, getting the guys ready. Vargas was.
It was Matthew Vargas.
Yeah, Matthew Vargas.
He was next in line.
Yeah, he was next in line. He was up. He was the
They called his
4th
name
or 5th fight. Yeah,
to come out.
We warmed him up, got him ready, He's ready. We were standing at the stage, and then they're like, "All right, you're cut. You're going to be at the end of the fight. We're going on to live TV." And so it's like that whole
because he's prep, he's that
that whole prep to it.
It's like,
and then
what the heck?
Now so he had to wait the whole night until everybody was done, and he was the last fight.
Yeah, so we had to go to the back.
And see, people don't understand that. Or
they
don't
then
know
we had to go to the back, and
so his adrenaline just went straight back down.
Drop.
Yeah.
It's like an example like of a professional game. And then the lights go out, or they have a weather delay.
Oh yeah.
Your pitcher's warm. You're throwing. Now you put him on ice for an hour, and now it's not the same.
Yeah.
Same thing with fighter. Like you said, that's perfect. Like
that's exactly.
He's right there, and then it's hard to get that back.
Yep. Then you get out there because you're standing in the back, and you can see the fighters walking down. You can see all the crowd. You can see all of that stuff. And then to be like, oh, you got to go to the back for another 3 hours. So we go to the back, and then we get back up there again. And then there's nobody in the crowd because everybody left after the main event. Like after the main event.
So then you're just there with like a handful of people.
Maybe you're a couple of your team members who are not drunk, or maybe
it's been 3 hours. Yeah.
And then maybe your mom and dad and your uncles and stuff, and it's really quiet and you can hear everything.
Yeah. It's a whole different
I didn't never thought about it that way. That's another thing that you have to prepare.
Yeah, and then you win, and then it's like you want to
cheer,
but there's nobody there,
Because the fights get exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there, and I'm like, because it's not the smallest arena, it's not the biggest either, but it's like perfect enough to where it's like something happens.
You can feel the energy. Yeah.
You can feel it shift both ways.
Yeah.
Because like I said, with the fight, Robert ended up not winning. The first round he was like, boom, momentum, and then the thing about MMA is you can get caught one hit, and especially in that weight class. The big boys, they're power. And so
we went over that. He knew that. He shouldn't have.
No, he talked about it. He's like, I shouldn't. I set the game plan. I got to set the game plan. That's what he said when he won. He's like, I just got to, got to set the game plan. And like, and that's. I mean, right there, him already saying that's obviously coming through coaching and just the preparation, and that's where I think people don't quite understand. And that's why when I bring them on, I want everyone to understand, like they're, with athletes in general, we look at them like almost not human sometimes. Athletes come on the podcast and they talk about like, well, I don't feel like, people are in my DM if I don't get them, with football, fantasy football, right? People are upset, but we don't go into the fact that we don't know what. I think I like to say this is like, you don't know what someone is going through. Yeah,
definitely. We actually go through that recently with one of our fighters, and he mentally he's just in his head, he's wrestling, he's fighting, but he feels like he's not up to par where he should be, and I have to tell him, like, we know what you're capable of. We don't have to tell you what you're doing wrong. You already know, like, just fight. It'll come naturally, just fight. You don't have to prove anything to anybody, because you going into the ring already, that's already proved everything. You know?
And I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is, like you said.
It's mentally draining for these fighters, because they're cutting weight. They're already fatigued, and they're still trying to fight at 100% or train at 100%, not even to mention what's going on at home, on the homeland, like with work or school or bills or, just life in general, like these kids, they're trying to survive, without parents, trying to stay out of the streets. So people don't really see all the background of it. And we have to sit there as parents, like, you're good enough,
And I think that's why I think I'm falling in love with what I do now. Because of that, getting to know who they are generally. And I'm like, okay, because I think I can tell you, everything happens for a reason. I believe that what I'm going through right now is for a reason. So I feel like I appreciate things more. Like I'm like, and the little things like having water in your home, having your lights turned on, right? Having your bills paid. I was telling my buddy the other day, I was like, being able to take your family to dinner is a luxury.
Yeah.
You've made it in life. But we're so spoiled because we've made X amount of money or we've been accustomed to certain things. Like we talked about it.
Yeah.
Not putting anybody on Fun Street, but we're buying all these different shoes and we're doing this and we're doing that. I did the same. So it's like, but now I'm understanding like, man, just to be able to say, hey, I could take my wife and kids out to go eat. Like, you're rich. You made it. Because and I'm talking about paying your mortgage, paying your bills, paying this, doing this. Yeah. And so when I see it and I go into it, I'm like, man, I really understand it now. So when I talk to the fighter or whoever I'm talking to, I'm like, I get it. Yeah. And I can seriously say I get it. Compared to before, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. But I didn't get it, you know, because I never had to live like that.
Yeah.
And then now, like I said, I've been blessed to say I have the family backing. But in this season that the Lord has me in, it hasn't been that way. It's been me, my wife, my children, and I've been able to go through it, but it's made me have more gratitude.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, this thing, wherever it's going to go, I want to remain doing what I'm doing for the Valley. Like I said, all the fighters are coming up.
It's rewarding to hear their stories. It really
cool.
is.
And
Their journeys.
I really thought it was cool that you didn't grab that low hanging fruit, you know, because you could have grabbed that low hanging fruit already, but you didn't. So
yeah, no, it's because at the end of the day, that's not my goal.
Yeah,
like my goal really is to, like I said, but the real thing is when you meet the people, bro. I'm talking about the fighters.
Oh yeah,
and you meet the camps, and you meet I kind of already have an idea of who's who now.
Yeah,
not crazy, but I know who I want to work with, and I don't. Yeah. I know who I really want, but when it comes to the fighters, I want to interview everyone. You know, because I really want the Valley to know them if they want to get known.
Yeah.
Everybody has a story.
Everybody has a story. Like, you know, why are you fighting? Or, you know, what this or that, right? But it's like, if you don't, I'm not going to force you though.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you once or twice, you know, obviously I'm going to go through the chains of whatever promotion I'm working with and be like, okay, well, you guys just shoot me who you want.
Yeah.
You know, because I just happen to get, you know, off top 3 champs.
Yeah.
I didn't have it that way. That's who they gave me.
Yeah.
And then they all ended up being, all 4 of them have been great, you know?
Yeah.
Because, and it's like, and I think they're all already signed, or at least 3 out of the 4 are signed with Iridium. Yeah. So, I mean, that tells you that there's potential for who knows where, you know?
Right.
But yeah, no, I really liked how we touched on it. I liked this part 1, how we came in and you talked a little bit about the side of, you know, the mom and the pop and the fighters. But is there anything else that you guys want to touch on before we head off on at least part 1 of the interview?
Oh,
I mean, we can talk for days about.
No, yeah. I mean, I try to keep it like under an hour and a half now, just because
that's cool.
The
editing?
What I'm learning, not that, but just like when the conversation, like if you watch a podcast,
it gets boring. People
you just
tired of hearing your voice.
No, not really, because the flow is going good. The flow is going good because the conversation, because it got real.
Yeah, it did.
Like especially when he talked about, and you both talked about, like I never thought of it that way. So whoever out there watches fighting, and they're gonna be like, what? Like that's like about when Matt came up.
Yeah.
But he's the amateur.
Yeah.
So now it's pro. Okay, now go to the back.
Yeah.
Now 3 hours. Like that's crazy. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, because he's a
and now if you lose, it's like, well, I lost my momentum.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're not trying to make an excuse, but it's like,
yeah.
You know, I could have. Who knows what I would have done
if I
went right when it happened.
But I got cut off.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And sometimes, like I said, if the fight could. You know, if it can go the way we want it to go the night of the fight night, I mean, the promotions would be loving it. Jeremy and everybody else would be loving it. But there's circumstances you have to adjust on.
Right.
And like I said, there could be a fight where it goes the distance. There could be an injury. There could be a stoppage. There could be whatever. You don't know what can happen in a fight. And so I think that's that hearing it from you guys, like that's the way you have to really learn from the camps. Yeah. You know, the coaches and
because a lot of people don't see that. They don't. Just the in-ring stuff.
And I think as media, it's good to know too, because sometimes, remember, I feel like that's why I'm not media. Like I didn't come up. So when I ask the questions, I'm not trying to I'm just trying to get the raw reaction. Yeah. But I'm not trying to, like you said, I'm not trying to grab the bait and then push it out. Cause my goal right now, at least, is the goal is to just push the fighter and push the camps. That's the best way that I can.
That's good.
But yeah, no, I think this was a great part 1.
Oh yeah.
And thank you guys for stopping by, coming all the way from Tachi. And we will continue the next time. But like we start every podcast with a Bible verse, we end with the same Bible verse. And today's Bible verse led us to Proverbs 16:9. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. I thought that was perfect for today's
definitely.
That was
today's podcast. But once again, thank you to Jacob Jeff and to Amber Jeff, and we will talk to you guys soon.